guys, welcome back to the crew debrief. I'm Nicole. Kenny Chesney has his own rum line. It's called Old Blue Chair, and this is his coconut rum with some Coke Zero. This week is my random part 2. If you watched my video last week, you know that I talked about people stowing their bags in the overhead bin, and I talked about a specific flight when I worked to Prague with this really bitchy crew. This trip happened during summer because it was one of the hottest days the East Coast has seen. It was in the hundreds, and my plane was an older version of the plane that we take to Prague. So we were sitting out on the runway and we were delayed for a while, and our plane ended up overheating. We had to go back to the gate, and we were delayed, I want to say like 3 hours or something. It was ridiculous, and the plane was super hot. We had to let people off so that it could cool down, so that we could cool down and people could cool down. On this plane, there are 4 crew rest seats for the crew in the back. So this girl had kept wanting to move to our crew rest seats, and we kept saying, no, this is for the crew, this is a long flight, this is where we take our break. She was like hell-bent on sitting in these seats, but it didn't matter because everyone's getting off. So I was standing in the seats waving at everyone like, hello, we'll see you in a couple minutes. And I hear her on the phone. She's probably like maybe 21. She was very early 20s. And she was sitting in front of a kid who was about the same age. I didn't think they knew each other because they hadn't really interacted. And I could hear her on the phone talking to what sounded like her aunt very loudly. He better not ever fucking talk to me again. I don't ever want to fucking see his face. And then she turned around and started yelling at the guy behind her. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Before I could intervene, she got up, still yelling at, still motherfucking her aunt, and stormed off the plane. So I went up to this kid and I was like, excuse me, I couldn't help but overhearing the very aggressive way that this girl was speaking to you. Is everything okay? He was like, yeah, that's my girlfriend. And I was like, oh, I thought that you weren't flying together. He was like, no, she's mad at me. I wanted to be like, no fucking shit, she's mad at you. He goes, it might be better if when we get back on the plane, if I don't sit near her. I said, that's not a problem. My name is Nicole. It was only about a half full cabin, so there were plenty of open seats for me to move him to. Fast forward an hour and a half later, everyone comes back on the plane. This couple is sitting together. No problem. They're like cute and everything seemed fine, so I didn't bother to go check on him because if he needed to move his seat, he would have come find me. Everything's fine. We are strapped in, like literally taking off. Like the nose is about to come up off the ground. All of a sudden, you hear her yell at the closest flight attendant, you need to turn this fucking overhead light off. Because we have protocol for what lights are supposed to stay on. And I actually think that there might have been an issue with the reading light at her seat. The flight attendant was like, excuse me? Like, I'm talking like this woman is strapped in. And she was like, you need to watch your tone of voice. This girl was like, fuck you, figure out how to turn off this light. Oh, she's yelling and cursing at the flight attendant, who apparently has kids her age and was trying to calm her down the best way possible, which truthfully is more than what I want to do. I was like, we need to go back. We need to return back to the gate and get this girl off this plane, because it turned out that she had physically hit him, the boyfriend, in front of other passengers. But no one told us. Like, nobody told us that she had hit him, and she had also apparently said that if she ever saw his face again, she was going to kill him. We're like, what? So this girl is then having a panic attack because the flight attendant with the kids her age was trying to calm her down and was like, if we go back to the gate, which is what is going to happen, you will be arrested and we will have the authorities meet the plane. You need to calm down. While the rest of us are trying to move the boyfriend, and he's in the back alley crying. He's like, you can't get her in trouble because then her family will hate me. And I was like, you were hit by this girl. She physically punched him in the face. Like, I'm sure he wasn't blameless because the whole thing was really weird. She bought his ticket for him, but then at the last minute didn't want him to come on the trip, but didn't tell him that. And they never were staying together in Prague. Like, she has a friend there and he had an Airbnb. Like, it was all very weird. I personally wanted to turn around and take her off the plane, because what if it's like an 8-hour flight to Prague, okay? What if she sees him going to the bathroom or something and she freaks out again? Like, I'm not trying to have that happen mid-air over the fucking ocean. I was outvoted because once again, this entire crew hated me, and the purser, who was the lead flight attendant, was very, very passive aggressive. And they all wanted to go to Prague. If we had turned around to go back to the gate, they would have had to have recruited us because we would have been illegal, because we can only work so many hours in a certain time frame, and with the delay, we would not have been able to actually work the flight. Thankfully, this girl chilled the fuck out. And the lady was right. She said, if we go back and they arrest her, this is going to ruin her life forever, which is true. But also, so there's so many other variables there that why do you take the chance? This is literally what we are trained for. That we kept him far away, and the cockpit had radioed ahead so that when we landed, they had the gate agent supervisor in Prague come meet the plane, and she bolted. Like, we kept him. We had put him somewhere that she could not see him. He used a restroom where that she couldn't see him from. Like, we made sure that she could not see him since she had threatened his life. This kid was the last person that was allowed off the plane, and the gate agent escorted him out because they rebooked him for the next day for his return flight, and put it in the system so that these two kids will never be allowed to fly together again. Never ever. Her ending up in a jail in Prague is probably a lot worse than being taken off by the authorities in the United States. And that's honestly what I thought was going to happen, because we had a radio ahead. It's pacified itself while we were in mid-flight, but who knows what's going to happen if they get off the plane and meet in baggage claim. Like, she was violent towards him and made a threat on his life. That's my story about an almost arrest. I hope that it lived up to all your expectations. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you next Wednesday on the crew debrief. Bye, guys.